We'll play the pressure game. I'll play the pressure game with everybody. And I'm going to look at number 97. I'm going to just come out and say it. Nick Bosa probably has more pressure on him to perform at a higher level than Brock Purdy. And I get Brock Purdy as a quarterback, and he touches the ball every game. And look, man, the Niners, they're not paying him much. They're not paid. They could pivot off him in a heartbeat. Nick Bosa's here for the long term. He's got the big, fat extension.
Locked in.
Highest paid defensive player ever.
No doubt.
Locked in. Held out of training camp, 10.5 sacks. Blamed his slow start on him holding out of training camp, which I did not want to hear. But he didn't show up last year. Bosa didn't show up last year in the postseason. He was very, very quiet. And he want to get mentioned with the likes of T.J. Watt. You want to get mentioned with the likes of Myles Garrett. Hell, if you want to be mentioned with the likes of Charles Haley and Reggie White and Bruce Smith and Kevin Green and some of the great pass rushers we've ever seen, well, number 97 needs to show up. And he needs to show up. That's first and foremost. He has to set the tone on Sunday. 97, I'm looking at you. I need you in that backfield all game long. I need you stuffing the run. I need you containing. Outside containment is huge in this game. It's always huge for that matter. 97 probably has more pressure on him than Brock Purdy.
I think you're on to this. Aaron Donald, when they won it all, in the NFC Championship game, fourth quarter, he took over. And when you go back to that Super Bowl, the final couple drives for Cincinnati, he was in that backfield. When Chris Jones and the Chiefs are winning, I know Mahomes gets a lot of the headlines. Chris Jones is a force, an absolute force, and was in a lot of playoff games to close things out or get stops or whatever. He did it to the Niners in the Super Bowl, did it to Cincinnati, saw him do it to, Philadelphia late last year. Yeah. The great defensive players show up in the big games.
Yep.
And they make their presence known. And I absolutely need to see Nick Bosa get in that backfield and wreak havoc.
Yeah, he's got to wreak havoc.
I completely agree.
And on the other side, Chase Young. Hell, Chase Young, when he first arrived and he played that Jacksonville game, we seen him meeting Bosa at the quarterback. And there's an argument. We were talking about Ayuk and, who would you rather pay and who do you want to pay? We should extend Chase Young right away. And I say, hold your horses here. Hold your horses. That's just one game. Well, I don't know if I've seen Chase Young since that game.
Oh, he was good in the last the game in Washington. He was good in that game.
All right.
I mean, I'm just going off. I'm not going off PFF ratings. I'm going off my eyeballs.
Just eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Speaking of PFF, as I open up the door, did you see J.J. Watt destroy PFF?
Yes, I did. Which deservedly so.
Yeah, because C.J. Stroud, who had a monster game and was damn near perfect, they rated him at like a 78 out of 100. And he was like, what a joke. Yeah. These people are supposed to know football. Anyway, continue.
So, I mean, Chase Young, you want to get paid? You want big money?
I agree with that.
This is where you get the big money.
Well, and Armstead, too. Armstead's missed a lot of time. They've missed him. They've missed him big time. And when they won in Green Bay a couple of years ago, Armstead was amazing in that game. He was amazing in that game. So they're going to need him big time. And you're going to need Javon Hargrave. I look at Philadelphia, and part of their demise, there's many reasons why they spent so much on that defensive line in terms of draft picks and money, and they weren't as good. Now, the back end wasn't good either. So you work in tandem. But the Niners have invested similarly heavily into that defensive line. They got to show up.
Yep. No doubt they have to show up.
Got to show up.
Robin in the city. Robin, what's happening? Good morning, sweetie.
Good morning, you guys. So, hi, Shasky. How are you?
I'm good, Robin. I missed your voice. Good to hear you.
Thank you. So, Ronte, I'm with you. Please don't ask anybody on the internet to be smart, because they're not smart, okay? All you got to do, if it's over a paragraph, all they do is a meme, a TikTok, and a video, and that's their thinking. It reminds me of, who Joseph Goebbels was? He was Hitler's right-hand man on how to brainwash a nation, okay? That's just exactly what it reminds me of. And me and you and Shasky can make a TikTok video and go around and critique food and get paid. How about that? So here's the deal. I'm with you, Bronte. I don't look at quarterback to quarterback. That's that old marketing. I don't know what that is, okay? But I don't get caught up in that. I look at the line.
Yep.
I look at, can that defensive line hold up against this offensive line. And this offensive line beat this defensive line, because that's where it all starts. Now, you got special quarterbacks that, that can do certain things, like Mahomes. There's Mahomes and everybody else, okay? But here's the deal. Young quarterbacks like Brock and even this guy C.J. Cloud or Love, who they're putting up on a pedestal now, okay? They need time to throw, okay? All young quarterbacks need time to throw. So our offensive line is going to have to give Purdy time to throw, and so I don't see without our experience. I don't see how we can't do that. The last thing I want to say, and I want to ask you guys this. Does this make sense to you? I don't listen. I hate Get Up, but I do like Broussard. He cracks me the hell up. And Keyshawn is a brother you can hang out with, Vontae, okay?
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
So here's the deal. They asked the question, if is it Purdy? Out of all the weakness on the Niners team, is it Purdy the main weakness? Is he the one that can probably cause you to lose if he's not having a good day? And they said, oh, most definitely. But he's not. But does this make sense? But he's not winning just because he's having a good day. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. He's the quarterback. If he's not having a good damn day and spreading the ball around, how the hell is that? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that doesn't.
He needs to be on point. No one would deny that. He's got to be able to spread the ball around. I just think in these playoff games, turnovers are vital. And it's so stupid. Oh, the turnovers are going to... No, like the reason why Dallas was in a giant hole to start that game was the pick sixes. They were devastating. And boom, your season's over. Flacco turning the ball over for Cleveland. And there were a variety of other things that can happen. Now, can you overcome those things? Joe Montana had a gazillion turnovers in the NFC Championship game in 1981, and they found a way to overcome them. The Niners, turned the ball over against the New Orleans Saints and got a bunch of turnovers and found a way to win that game with Alex Smith in that run. You make it a lot harder on yourself when you're turning the ball over.
Yeah, it's not common to turn the ball over in the playoff game and win that football game. Ask Andy Dalton. I've seen him throw 5 picks in a game, 4 picks in a wild card game. They can't overcome that. So if Purdy does turn the ball over, but in terms of the weakness of the football team, Purdy's not the weakness. Weakness of this team is the secondary. Even though Charvarius Ward a second-team All-Pro, you don't think the Packers are going to test him? All right? You don't think they're going to test him? Or Deommodore Lenoir? Or Ambry Thomas? Or what if Isaiah Oliver's on the field? God forbid Isaiah Oliver be on the football field and he's trying to guard one of these guys in the slot.
He played a lot against the Rams because they were playing a lot of their backups. Wasn't great.
That's the weakness of this football team.
I think safety play right now.
Safety, Jair Brown.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. A couple of missed, tackles. You saw it in the Eagle game. A bad angle here, 50-yard touchdown.
Well, no, the Eagles game, the first third down conversion for the Philadelphia Eagles in that football game back on December 3rd.
Oh, I meant
was Jair Brown missed a tackle on A.J. Brown. Quick slant, boom.
Yes,
goes for 39, 40 yards. The Arizona game, you missed a tackle to that running back, backup running back. He goes for 50-plus yards. Jair Brown has to tackle well. So the weakness of this football team is not Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's one of his strengths.
That I agree with.
The DBs are the weakness of this football team, which is why I'm looking at number 97, and I'm looking at number 92, and I'm looking at number 91, and I'm looking at number 98, and saying you have to dominate this football game. You have to help your secondary out in this football game. And you have to get after Jordan Love, because if Jordan Love has time, as Robin just pointed out, quarterback with the most time, whatever quarterback feels the most comfortable, Jordan Love, we seen last week, he can make all the throws. He can. And we thought the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys was good. Well, they got shredded. Shredded. This secondary for the Niners is going to have to show up, but they need the help of their front four. These games are one of the trenches, buddy. Green Bay didn't beat the Dallas Cowboys because Jordan Love threw the ball all over the field. They beat the Cowboys because Aaron Jones ran down their throats.
I don't think the Niners secondary is at quote-unquote strength currently, but I also don't think it's as bad as it was a couple of years ago. The question that I have is well, can the D-line be as good as it was a couple of years ago? And because that's where you can offset being a little weaker in the secondary. I go back to that playoff game that they lost to the Rams. I mean, they were playing Ambry Thomas out there.
Yeah.
He wasn't great.
No.
You know, he wasn't great. So, and that was before they picked up Charvarius Ward. I feel like the corners are better, but I don't know about Brown as a rookie. I just don't know. You know, part of the NFC Championship game they lost to the Seahawks, they had replaced Deshaun Golson with Eric Reed, who had a really good year. He took a couple really poor angles on some Marshawn Lynch runs and a throw over the top. And again, he had a really good year as a rookie that year. But, yeah, it cost them in those big games. Rookie experience cost them.
And you know what? Whitner also cost him in that game, too, because before halftime, he let a big play happen to Doug Baldwin. Russell Wilson was scrubbing around, rolled out to the right sideline, threw a deep ball to Doug Baldwin, and Dante Whitner had his eyes in the backfield and lost track of the wide receiver. So both safeties have to be on point in this football game because the Packers will take shots deep down the field. Let's go to Rhea down to Lancaster. Rhea, good morning, Rhea. What's happening?
Good morning, gentlemen. I am ready for this game. I'm on pins and needles. I wake up every morning. I look at the weather. I'm like watching all my gear. I'm just like, I need this game to happen. But I also need Jake Moody to be on point because it is going to rain, and I need him not to mess up. I really do. I'm very nervous about that.
Well, I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that, Rhea. I think Jake Moody will be fine. I think he'll be fine. Now, don't let it come down to him because then we can have a different conversation. Now, that's a lot of pressure on the rookie. If we're talking about the P word, Rhea, that pressure on Jake Moody in a close game, I don't think we all want to sit through that.
Yeah, I don't want to. So I'm like, if I need Shanahan, go for two. Just go for two, or I don't know. Just go for it on fourth down. I don't know. If I can avoid Jake Moody doing things that are gonna like win or lose the game, then I'll be a better person on Saturday.
Yeah, but these playoff games come down to special teams at times, not always, but at times, and so he's got to be buttoned up. Right. But he was really good this year. Rhea, this is what I would say. Until the very end of the year, he had not missed a field goal inside of 40 yards, right? The other misses were in a sloppy weather condition Cleveland game. Now, that doesn't bode well if Saturday is rainy and wet, but I feel like we've kind of overstated how much he struggled this year. He actually was a really good kicker this year.
Right, he was. He missed one extra point.
But I'm concerned, too. I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I don't have my own reservations.
Yeah, Baldy said, hey, you got to be nervous about the kicker. Gary Anderson, Minnesota Vikings, 98.
I mean,
he was perfect up until he missed a kick in the AFC Championship game against the Atlanta Falcons. So, yes, kickers are always going to struggle. I just rather not even talk about them. I just don't even talk about them. And when it's their chance, and I pray to God, hey, look, you know what? You miss a kick, then that's, I don't even want to think about that. I'm not putting that in the stratosphere.
B, I don't know if you've ever heard kickers talk, but like the ones that golf a lot, Robbie Gold being one of them, he talks about how like there are times where like a golfer on the putting surface, you get the yips. Yep. And sometimes you just yank something or you push it because it's so mental. It's so... You're all alone. It's like a free throw. Like there are certain sports equivalents that are out there, and stuff happens. Weird stuff happens on top of the elements.
You saw it last year, not to cut you off, Joe, with Brett Maher up close and personal at Levi Stadium. You saw it on Monday Night Football against the Bucs. I almost felt bad for the guy. He couldn't make an extra point.
The Cowboy kicker missed a kick in the 49er Cowboy game. Like this
same guy, right? Brett Maher.
Yeah,
Brett Maher.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean.
Beer Man has.
It's all the playoff game.
Beer Man.
You weren't talking playoff game, were you?
Yeah, I said last year they had it up close.
I thought you meant regular season. I apologize.
It's all right.
I thought you were referring to the regular season.